Good day, and welcome back to the Sussex Files. And today we are going somewhere most channels have been too afraid to go. We are following the money. Every single pound of it. Every deal. Every failure. Every lie they told the public about why they signed, what they produced, and what really happened when Hollywood finally got tired of them. Because here is what nobody has told you yet, and I mean nobody. The Sussex media empire did not just fail. It failed in a way that was so specific, so documented, and so spectacularly avoidable, that by the end of this video, you're going to be genuinely stunned that it took this long for the world to catch on. So if you think you already know the Netflix story, you do not. You know the surface. Today we go underneath it. Stay with us. And before we dive in, if you are new to the Sussex Files, welcome. We are building something serious here, and we are growing fast. Hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell right now, because what is coming in this series is the kind of content that simply does not exist anywhere else. We are trying to hit 500 subscribers in the next 2 weeks, and every single one of you is part of that mission. Right, let us get into it. So, September 2020. Harry and Meghan have been out of the royal family for approximately 8 months. They are living in a rented mansion in Los Angeles. They have a new baby, and they have just announced a content deal with Netflix that the entertainment world is buzzing about. The reported value? £100 million. That is the number that went around the world. The number that made headlines on every continent. The number that Harry and Meghan's team never officially confirmed, but also never corrected. Here is the first thing they never told you. According to Variety, one of the most respected entertainment trade publications in the world, 2 sources close to the deal say the actual figure was roughly $60 million. Not $100 million. 60, which is still an extraordinary sum of money. But it is also $40 million less than the number the public was led to believe. And when you understand why that gap matters, why the inflated number was so useful to Harry and Meghan's brand at that precise moment, everything else about this story starts to make sense. They needed the world to believe they were worth $100 million. Because if you are worth $100 million, nobody asks too many questions. Nobody asks why you left. Nobody asks what the plan is. The number itself becomes the justification. The number is the story. And the story, as we established in episode 1, was always the product. But here is where it gets really interesting. Because Netflix did not just hand over $60 million and wish them well. Netflix had expectations. Netflix had a schedule. Netflix had other executives, competitors, actually, who were also trying to sign Harry and Meghan. According to Variety's deep dive reporting published in March 2026, David Zaslav of Warner Bros. Discovery was especially keen to land the couple. Ted Sarandos, Netflix's co-chief executive, was described as fiercely competitive and swooped in specifically to beat the competition and close the deal. This matters enormously because it means the deal was driven partly by corporate rivalry, not purely by creative vision. Netflix did not sign Harry and Meghan because they had a slate of brilliant content ideas. Netflix signed Harry and Meghan because Netflix did not want anyone else to have them. That is a very different thing, and it set the stage for everything that followed. Because what Netflix discovered almost immediately after signing was something that multiple insiders have now confirmed on the record. Harry and Meghan were, and I am choosing this word deliberately, extraordinarily difficult to work with. One individual with direct knowledge of the production process told The Wrap, again, not a tabloid, one of Hollywood's most respected trade outlets, and I want you to hear this carefully. Harry and Meghan made the collaborative process very hard, to the point that there was no collaboration at all. Now let us talk about the specific projects, because this is the part of the story that makes your jaw drop. The deal was signed in September 2020 with what Netflix described as big plans. Documentaries, scripted series, children's programming, the works. 5 years. $60 million. A content empire. What did they actually deliver? 1 documentary series. That is the Harry and Meghan docuseries that aired in December 2022, 2 full years after the deal was signed. 1 documentary about the Invictus Games in 2023, which very few people watched. 1 series called Live to Lead, which aired on New Year's Eve 2022 and disappeared without a trace. An animated children's series called Pearl, which Meghan announced with enormous fanfare in 2021, and which Netflix canceled the following year before a single frame had aired. And eventually, a lifestyle series called With Love, Meghan, which began airing in March 2025, nearly 5 years into a 5-year deal, and which we will get to in a moment, because the numbers around that show are something else entirely. That is the output from a $60 million deal, signed by two people who told the world they were leaving the royal family because they had so much they wanted to do, so much they wanted to create, so much they wanted to give. 2 years to produce their first project, a canceled children's show, and a lifestyle series that premiered in the final stretch of a partnership that was already quietly falling apart. That is not a content empire. That is a content footnote. But wait, because before we even get to the With Love disaster, we need to talk about something that almost nobody covers in proper detail. The Oprah problem. In March 2021, while Netflix was actively developing content with Harry and Meghan, the couple sat down with Oprah Winfrey for their bombshell 2-hour interview, without, according to multiple sources at the time, giving Netflix any meaningful advance warning. According to Variety, many at Netflix were annoyed by the lack of communication, annoyed by the people they were paying $60 million. And this was not a small oversight. The Oprah interview fundamentally changed the Sussex brand in ways that directly impacted what Netflix could do with them. The victimhood narrative that Oprah broadcast to the world made it almost impossible for Netflix to build the aspirational, forward-looking content that the deal had originally envisioned. You cannot sell inspiring lifestyle content, and we are broken victims of institutional racism at the same time. The two narratives eat each other alive. Then, as if that was not enough, it emerged in the spring of 2021 that Penguin Random House was publishing Harry's memoir Spare, and that it was planned to coincide almost exactly with Netflix's rollout of the Harry and Meghan documentary. According to Variety, Netflix chief Ted Sarandos was so furious when he heard about this that he personally intervened to accelerate the documentary's release date to get ahead of the book. Netflix, the people paying the bills, had to rearrange their entire release schedule because Harry and Meghan had signed a book deal without properly coordinating with their primary partner. 2 surprises in the space of months. 2 enormous surprises that cost Netflix time, money, and significant internal goodwill. Now, with Love, Meghan. This is the part of the story that the Sussex fan base does not want to talk about, because the numbers are not ambiguous, they are not a matter of interpretation, and they are not being reported by hostile tabloids. These numbers come from Netflix's own published data. Season 1 of With Love, Meghan premiered in March 2025. In Netflix's own semi-annual viewing report covering January to June 2025, the show ranked number 383rd, on a platform with millions of subscribers worldwide. And here is the detail that should embarrass everyone who called this a triumph. The show was ranked lower than reruns of Suits, the legal drama that Meghan herself appeared in, which had been off the air for 6 years. Her old show, airing repeats, Season 2 was worse. According to data published by Deadline in September 2025, the second season failed to make Luminate's top 50 streaming charts in its opening weekend, meaning fewer than 1,100,000 people in America watched it in its first 2 days. For a show that was supposed to cement Meghan's status as a major lifestyle brand, that is a catastrophic number. And by January 2026, the Daily Beast reported that the show did not enter Netflix's global top 1,000 titles in the second half of 2025, logging roughly 2 million views over 6 months, more than 60% below its already disappointing first season total. Netflix placed it at number 1,016 worldwide. 1,016. One PR expert named Doug Eldridge, founder of Achilles PR, put it with devastating precision when he told Fox News Digital. In the end, she simply ran out of tarmac with Netflix. I want you to think about that image. A plane that never got off the ground. And then there is Spotify. Because the Netflix disaster does not exist in isolation, it is part of a pattern. In 2020, the same year as the Netflix deal, Harry and Meghan signed an exclusive podcasting deal with Spotify. Reported value, approximately $18 million. The plan was multiple series, a broad slate of audio content, a genuine podcast empire. What they delivered? 1 series, 12 episodes of Archetypes, in which Meghan interviewed celebrity guests. 1 holiday special. And then, after 2.5 years, the partnership collapsed entirely. Spotify did not renew. And in a moment of extraordinary candor that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, Spotify's head of podcast strategy, Bill Simmons, went on his own podcast and described Harry and Meghan with a word that I am going to let you hear in its full, unfiltered glory: grifters. His exact words, reported by CNN, Fortune, and CNBC simultaneously: the grifters. It is one of my best stories. The grifters. So let us take a step back and look at the full picture. Because this is what your audience needs to understand. And this is the deeper truth that most channels simply gloss over. Harry and Meghan did not just have a bad run with Netflix and Spotify. They had a systemic failure of execution that exposed something profound about what their brand actually was. The one thing that worked, the only thing that generated massive, record-breaking audiences, was their Harry and Meghan documentary. The show in which they attacked the royal family. That is it. Everything else, the lifestyle content, the inspirational leadership series, the children's animation, the podcast about female empowerment, none of it connected. None of it moved numbers. And that tells you everything you need to know about what their actual brand value is and where it comes from. Their currency is not inspiration. It is not creativity. It is not talent. Their currency is royal proximity, royal grievance, and royal drama. The moment they stop talking about the palace, the audience disappears. And you cannot build a sustainable content empire on a foundation of other people's family arguments. Netflix figured this out. Spotify figured this out. Hollywood has figured this out. The only people who have not yet publicly acknowledged it are Harry and Meghan themselves. That is episode 3 of the Sussex Files. And if you have made it this far, I genuinely hope you feel like you now know something you did not know before, because that is exactly what this channel exists to do. We are not here to gossip. We are here to give you the full picture, the real numbers, and the documented truth that the mainstream media buries under sentiment and soft focus. If this video gave you that, please like it right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it helps more people find this channel. Subscribe if you have not already and tap that notification bell, because episode 4 is the one that is going to genuinely shake your faith in everything. We are going inside Archewell, tracking the money, the staff walkouts, and the question that nobody in the mainstream press is asking loudly enough. Where did all that money actually go? Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Sussex Files. I will see you in the next one.